Welcome to Cape Ann Report. I'm your host, Maureen Aylward. Cape Ann Report is a weekly program that covers events on Cape Ann. And for this show, I'm speaking with Tina Ramo of the Gloucester Education Foundation. And we're going to find out more about what the GEF is up to. So Tina, welcome to Cape Ann Report.
Well, thank you.
It's lovely to have you here. Well, the Gloucester Education Foundation is well known in our community for really stepping up to support the schools. And you have an event coming up on November 1st.
We do.
And it's a community forum?
So it's a community education forum.
Tell me more about this.
Well, this is something that the GEF and the district like to do every few years. We've had several public education forums. It's a way of bringing the community together to talk about education and to really give them a glimpse of some aspect of education that maybe they're not always thinking about and how it relates to the schools. Mm-hmm. This year we are very pleased to host Dr. David Rose, who's going to make a presentation called How They Learn, How We Teach. Dr. Rose is a neuropsychologist who co-founded an organization called the Center for Applied Special Technology in Wakefield, CAST. And the focus of this organization is to make education accessible to all students of different learning abilities and learning styles through the use of multimedia technologies. Based on findings in neural research, brain research. He's going to be talking about some recent findings in brain science and how these relate to students with different learning styles and what educators can do to address those styles.
So it's really a community forum for both parents and teachers, educators of all kinds, and other folks who are interested in what's happening in this area. And when we talk about learning, different learning styles, I know with my own children, they all learn differently. And the schools are just starting to address this in a new way, where before it was straightforward, this is the way you have to learn. And now there's just this opening where learning styles are more understood. And so this is trying to get at that.
It's a very timely topic, and there will be many teachers in attendance, and as well as parents and others who are interested in education. Other education forums in the past, we have addressed issues like essential skills in the 21st century, essential learning skills. We have had a presentation on technology and how it's impacting the classroom and changing the way teaching and learning happens in schools. Recently we had an education forum on libraries in the digital age. So it's always something that is relevant and timely and important for parents and educators to know about.
Well, in this modern age of multimedia, where media is all around us at all times, this is really, really timely. And again, it's on Wednesday, November 1st.
Yes.
And it starts at 6:30.
It's at Cruise Port.
It's a cruise port, right. So it's a cruise port, and what can people expect when they come into cruise port for this event?
Well, the doors open at 6:30. We will have a very brief social hour, or half hour, I should say, before the program starts at 7. Dr. Rose will make his presentation, and I can tell you, Maureen, that I've heard him present before, and he is very engaging. You know, you think about coming and listening to a lecture on brain science, and it doesn't sound terribly exciting, but he will make it very interesting, very accessible, and understandable. He will present for about 45 minutes or so, and then we'll have roundtable discussions that people will be sitting at tables, and they'll have brief discussions afterwards, and then come back and be able to ask Dr. Rose questions. We'll also have a panel of some Gloucester educators who will be on hand to answer questions of a local nature. So if somebody wants to know how something Dr. Rose has talked about relates to what's going on in our schools, so they'll be able to ask our local educators, our superintendent, assistant superintendent.
So that's Dr. Sapphire?
Dr. Sapphire, Mr. Bach,
Who's the
Greg
assistant
Bach,
superintendent?
right? James Cook, who is the principal at Gloucester High School, and
Right.
Amy Pasquarello, who is the principal at East Gloucester Elementary School.
Wow, so this is cutting across elementary, middle school, and high school to hit that diverse audience. It sounds like a really fantastic program. And to have that local angle, I think, is just critical.
Oh, it's important, yes, yes.
Yeah, to see the both. So here's the science, here's what's happening from Dr. Rose, and then that panel. And the Gloucester Education Foundation has been such a part of our community for so long. Just remind our viewers about your mission, and then I'd like to just touch on some new initiatives that you have going on.
Okay, well, we are a 10-year-old organization. We are a grassroots nonprofit that brings resources from the community into the schools. We bring in funding from people who want to donate and contribute to education in the schools, and sometimes we bring in talent and expertise as well. Our mission is to drive innovation, encourage creativity, expand student opportunities, and empower educators to strengthen teaching and learning in the Gloucester Public Schools. We have been around since 2005. We were actually incorporated formally in 2006. Last year we celebrated our 10th anniversary, and at that point we had brought in, leveraged, raised over $6 million on behalf of the Gloucester Public Schools for a variety of programs at all of our schools, all grade levels, and in all subject areas.
That's a significant contribution.
Well, we're very proud of the work we've done.
And all of the children who have gone through the programs, I know some of them, they're really thrilled to be in a theater program or having music lessons, or the accessibility that in the arts, but also in technology, innovation. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. What is going on that's new?
Well, more recently we've started to look at funding some areas that we haven't really touched on before. One of the new areas that's gaining prominence among educators is social emotional learning. We are funding a program in November at Gloucester High School called Teen Mental Health First Aid. And it's actually a program for the high school teachers. It'll be a training provided in conjunction with Leahy Health. And it will enable teachers, it will give teachers some skills and strategies for identifying students who might be at risk for emotional problems, who might need some emotional support. We are funding a new literacy program at Veterans Elementary School, which is using literature to support their social emotional learning, having children read literature, having them relate to it, relate their own experiences to it. And then we also recently just approved funding for music therapy lessons for the life skills students at Gloucester High School. So that's a relatively new area that we're going to be looking at more carefully.
Focusing in on the therapies and focusing in on these very specific ways that you can both identify and also assist.
Assist and really paying attention to the whole child.
Yeah, paying attention to the whole child, especially with the social emotional issues that can surface at school.
Yes.
And it gives you insight into what might be happening for that child. That's wonderful. Again, another aspect of the Gloucester Education Foundation coming in to support in an area that might not get the attention in the school system in general. So you're also focused on innovation and creativity.
We are.
And people have heard about the ballroom dancing and the theater programs, but what about the creative labs and the Learning Commons? And tell me a little bit more about what you're doing there.
Well, the Learning Commons is again, it's a more recent concept in education, and it's the library. You know, there was a school library, then there was the media center, and now it's the Learning Commons. A throwback to the olden days when the town commons was the gathering place for people, for the residents of the community. The Learning Commons is a gathering place for teachers and educators to come together and use technology to collaborate and do research and explore different ideas and learn from one another. At Gloucester High School, we recently funded something called the Creation Lab, which includes a 3D printer. It includes an iMac setup. We have a series of iMac computers where students can get on and they can write music or design fashion or edit films and do a variety of creative endeavors. And there's a green screen where students can actually learn how to videotape and make video presentations.
Very cool.
That is very cool.
It's all very cool.
That is very cool, and they love it, I'm telling you.
Yeah, of course they do.
O'Malley, a few years ago, we helped the district bring in a major grant, a $100,000 grant, to transform the O'Malley Library into a learning commons, and we're in the final year of that now. I don't know if you've been to O'Malley, but it's actually a 2-floor learning commons, and up on the first floor there are a lot of different spaces where students can gather. They can either work individually, they can have a quiet space if they want to read on their own. They have big couches where they can all get together and talk about a project. They have whole classes that meet in the library now. There's a conference room that has a smart board and teleconferencing capabilities.
That's great. That's great for the whole school.
That is great for the whole school.
From the business side and
absolutely. And then downstairs, 2 of our teachers are installing a bio lab on the lower level where students.
What's that? And what's involved with the bio
Well,
lab?
the bio lab is for a new project that is being funded by the Mass Life Science Center to study aquaponics. Fish and aquaponics is a system of fish and plants and soil.
Sure.
And the main thrust behind this project and what the funding has enabled is the purchase of very sophisticated microscopes. So students are going to really be able to learn how to use microscopes to study the microorganisms that live in the soil.
Fascinating.
Which is very cool. And it's very cool because there is a new program at the high school in biotechnology.
Yeah.
And that will help prepare students
so it's the pipeline.
to enter that. That's the pipeline.
Just
That's the pipeline.
The nice introduction, and then they can get serious about it if they want.
Absolutely. And then there's the O'Malley Learning Commons also has a green room, so they're learning those video skills and production skills early. And the plans are also in the works for a creative space for the theater program. The sewing machines, carpentry benches, tools, tool centers where students can build sets and learn about set design and costume design. So it's very exciting. It's wonderful to see it all coming together.
It's really, so many different aspects of it, but you're following through. It seems that there's an idea, and then the funding comes through, or a grant, and then you see the expression of the implementation, and then there's follow through on lots of different ways.
It's very satisfying to see that.
Yeah, it's rich. It's very rich. What's happening. Tina, thank you so much for being here on KPN Report. Why don't you remind our viewers about Dr. Rose's talk coming up?
It's Dr. David Rose. He will be presenting our Public Education Forum on November 1st, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah.
The doors open at Cruzport, the upper level, at 6:30. It's free. There will be light refreshments available, and you're welcome to come. If people do want to come, please go to our website, and I think that's being shown up on the screen, and or call the phone number that's on the screen, and just let us know that you'd like to come.
And they need to register.
And they need to register through the website or calling our office.
Well, Tina, congratulations on all these fantastic things that the Gloucester Education Foundation is doing. We hope to have you back soon and learn more about it. Viewers, until the next time on KPN Report, take care.
Thank you.